My name is Betty. I am 80 years old, and I live in a small yellow house on Elm Street in Columbus, Ohio. I ran the post office on the corner for 27 years, and I want to tell you something that took me almost my entire life to say out loud. After 70, you actually do not need any friends at all. I know how that sounds. Sit with me for a few minutes and let me explain. 8 years ago, when I turned 72, I thought retirement would finally give me time for all the people I loved. I pictured long lunches and phone calls that lasted the whole afternoon and weekend trips with the women I had known since the post office days. Instead, the phone went quiet. The invitations stopped. And for the first time in my life, I sat with a calendar that had nothing written on it and felt the particular silence of a life that had suddenly lost its structure. At first, I blamed myself. Then I blamed them. Then I finally understood something that changed everything. Nothing was wrong with me, and nothing was wrong with them. Life had simply moved on, and I had not yet learned how to move with it. Let me take you back to my 79th birthday. I had baked my own cake, lemon with white frosting, the way I have always liked it. One candle, I lit it and sat at the kitchen table and realized no one was coming. Not Dorothy, who had worked the window beside mine for 19 years. Not my son Michael, who was 3 states away with a new job and a new baby and a life that was full in all the right ways. The house was so quiet I could hear the clock on the wall. I sat in my robe until the candle burned all the way down and I cried, not the loud kind, the small, private kind that comes when you finally admit you have been waiting for something that is not going to arrive. That was the night something started shifting inside me. After 70, the structures that used to hold friendships together simply disappear. No more morning rush at the post office where Dorothy and I talked over coffee before the doors opened. No more neighborhood committees or school events where other women became your automatic circle. No more shared complaints about the same manager that made you feel like you were in something together. Everything that once held us in proximity evaporated, and what was left was just us, without the scaffolding. I started noticing how many of my friendships had been built on convenience rather than genuine connection. We were close because we shared a break room, or because our children were the same age, or because we both watched the same television program and needed someone to discuss it with on Monday morning. Once those things changed, the friendships quietly walked out without saying goodbye. I had spent decades keeping every single one of them alive. Birthday cards, Christmas letters, phone calls I made myself initiate every time. I thought that made me a loyal person. Looking back, I think I was mostly just afraid of being alone with myself. Then came Dorothy's funeral in February. She was 81, just 1 year older than me. We had laughed together through 4 postmasters and one flood that closed us for a week and more difficult customers than either of us could count. I stood near the back in my good coat, and when it was my turn to speak, I realized something that stopped me cold. I was not her closest friend anymore. I was someone from the past. The woman who gave the real eulogy had known Dorothy for 5 years. Her walking partner from the park around the corner, 5 years. And there I was with 27 years of shared mornings. But I felt like a visitor in someone else's grief. I drove home through the cold and understood something I had been avoiding. Most of the friendships I had been clinging to were built on shared history, not shared present. We had history, yes, but we no longer had a life happening at the same time in the same direction. And history alone cannot keep two people warm when the nights get long. After 70, the rules change. Your energy becomes precious, your time becomes the most valuable thing you own, and you start asking different questions. Does this person leave me feeling lighter or heavier? Am I here because I want to be, or because I am afraid of what happens if I stop showing up? Those questions changed everything for me. I did not make an announcement. I did not send anyone a message explaining myself. I simply started responding more slowly. I stopped initiating. I let the natural distance grow the way it wanted to grow. Some people never noticed. Others sent a message or two and then drifted. Only two women stayed, quietly, without pressure or demand. One is my neighbor Agnes, who leaves vegetables from her garden on my porch step without knocking. The other is my cousin Vera, who calls on Sunday evenings and we talk for 20 minutes about nothing important, and it is always exactly enough. Two people, that is all. And it is more than enough. The morning everything became clear was a Tuesday in early March. I woke up, made my coffee, and sat by the front window. The street outside was gray and still. I did not check my phone. I did not open my computer. I just sat and watched the light change on the houses across the road for nearly an hour. And for the first time in more years than I can count, I felt calm. Not lonely, not empty. Calm, as if the house and I had finally stopped arguing with each other. That morning I understood. Solitude is not punishment. It is the place where you finally meet yourself without all the noise. And once you meet yourself and find you can tolerate the company, you stop needing other people to confirm that you exist. Once I stopped pouring my energy into friendships that no longer fit, something I did not expect happened. My relationship with Michael became warmer than it had been in years. We do not speak every day, but when we do, I am completely present. No half listening, no thinking about who I need to call next, just me and my son talking the way we used to when he was young enough to sit on the kitchen counter while I cooked. I started writing in a small notebook. What I cooked, what I read, how the light looked on the elm tree outside my window at 4 in the afternoon. Those pages are showing me that an ordinary day lived without performance is a remarkably full thing. My health improved too. Less energy spent managing other people's expectations meant better sleep and steadier days, and more room for the things that actually bring me something real. Gardening, reading, sitting on the porch in the early evening, watching the street without feeling I should be somewhere else. So here I am at 80, telling you with everything I have. After 70, you do not need any friends at all. If by friends you mean people you chase and perform for and keep out of fear of being alone. You only need the quiet, steady friendship you build with yourself. If you are watching this, and you feel the pressure to keep every old connection alive, I am handing you the permission right now. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to choose peace. You are already enough company for yourself. Put your phone down for 30 minutes today. Sit somewhere you like. Ask yourself honestly who and what actually brings you peace right now. Write down the first true answer that comes. Then honor it. I will be right here on Elm Street if you need reminding. Take care of yourself.